or something.
Cool. Just send the link in my DMs and then we'll start. I need to get the link in announcements.
Yeah, whatever.
Cool. Welcome along to Sywell 2025 Day 2. We'll be getting the flying underway very shortly, so stay tuned for that. So, first up on the agenda, we have the P-38 Lightning. We'll follow that up with hopefully the Harrier and the A400M Atlas. After that, we'll be having, if Chaos is still here, we'll be having the Vulcan taxi run and the Phantom taxi run, and we'll sort of see how it goes from there. We'll probably have the RAF Typhoon after that, and then the rest of the day will be sort of whoever's available, as we've been having a few technical issues with streamers and that. So sort of had to move the day a bit earlier. So with that being said, the P-38 Lightning should be arriving hopefully soon. I believe it might be in the background on the left-hand side.
Very nice.
So Unspeak, what display are you most excited about for today?
I haven't had a proper look at the schedule yet, so I'll make sure I have a good look at that later after this display. But I'm excited for the Typhoon and F-35 display. Those are always very good. Finish F-18. That might be good. Seems nice.
Yeah, no, I have to agree. The RAF displays are already exciting. Usually the Typhoon gets voted the best display of most air shows, so hopefully that will be a good display from Walliam in a bit. But if we look to the left now, we can see the P-38 Lightning running in from our left. So the P-38 starts with a banked pass. You can see the beautiful, beautiful camo livery. One of only 10 airworthy P-38s left in the world. We have a second P-38, as you can see on static. That is the Flying Bulls P-38. So that's another. So we have 2 of the 10 flying airworthy P-38s here. So pulling out of that amazing loop, the P-38 comes back and vacates the display line up to our right once again. We did see the P-38 here yesterday. That was brilliant, and we're so lucky to see it here once again. at Sywell. Of course, with the sort of massive changes that we've had, it's great to see all these displays coming back for dating. So on Speak, what do you think of this display so far?
It's a very nice display, especially with the P38. He's definitely pushing it around, but it looks very nice.
Yeah, no, of course it looks amazing, especially as they're sold American war sort of fighter aircraft. A very slow pass here, very skilled by the pilot, I think you'd agree.
It's definitely one of the most fast World War II displays we're gonna get.
Yeah, I agree,
Pilot's
yeah.
definitely chucking it around a lot, but it makes for an amazing display.
Yeah, I mean, I think that sort of dual engine of the plane sort of makes it just that little bit faster and just gives that sort of a little bit more sort of
Yeah.
display thrillingness. So I believe he's coming for an inverted pass this time. That was very skilled by the pilot there. Look at that, he's going into sort of an inverted sort of loop there. It's very interesting from the P38.
Lots of negative G.
So the P38 is one of many historical aircraft here we have that we have here, sorry, at Sywell Aerodrome this weekend. We have lots of Hurricanes, as you can see on the static display. We have the other P38. We have a few F4U Corsairs, and I believe we have about 2 Mustangs here. We also have some vintage jet aircraft, such as the Vulcan and the Phantom, that we'll be seeing later. And of course, we have the RF historical flight, flown by Ollie and Laser. And hopefully, we have a third aircraft today, but no promises there. Once again, from the left, the P38 Lightning. For another sort of rolling pass. Beautiful demonstration from the pilot here. Does about 2 or 3 rolls down the display line. So, like I said yesterday, the P38 has many variants. The P38L is the most advanced and capable version of the aircraft. We see it do another sort of slow roll past it. Beautiful skill by the pilot there to complete that. But yeah, the P38 had many roles, such as night fighter, reconnaissance aircraft, and fighter role sort of interceptor. The early versions had many problems flying over Europe, such as flying at high, such as sort of high altitudes. The reconnaissance version were called the F4 and F5. So the max service ceiling was 44,000 feet. I believe that is in the P-38L. And its sort of max range was about 450 miles. However, that was extendable to about 1,700 miles with drop tank. Its wingspan was 52 feet. It was 37 feet in length, and it was about 12 feet high. So just some confirmation um, for the schedule. Okay, right, hang on. So sorry, the new change to the schedule. So we'll be having the RAF Typhoon next, followed by the A400M and the Harrier. This just allows that we do get the brilliant RAF Typhoon here today at Sywell. As I know the pilot does have to go relatively soon. So we're just going to get him up next, and then we'll just move the Harrier and A400 just still after him. So as the P-38 comes in for another slightly banked pass there before levelling out. I believe he's coming to the end of his display now. He pulls back up into the vertical. And sort of goes up incredibly high there. Some very, very good power to weight ratio in that plane. So, Unspeak, you know a lot of display maneuvers. What would you call that one?
Probably a half horizontal, I think. Wait, no, not half Cuban, sorry.
Well, there you go. The Unspeak says that's a half horizontal. Sorry, not half horizontal, half Cuban. Correction. As we look back to the left, we can see him doing a little wing wave, and I believe that is the last pass of his display. That was an amazing demonstration of the P-38 there, and Unspeak, I have to say that was a thrilling display.
Yeah, one hell of a display, especially with this P-38.
So, yeah, like I said, next we do have the RAF Typhoon, and then we have the Harrier and A400M. Hopefully we can then get Laser on and do some of his displays. However, we are just sort of working off what we can get here. So the P-38 just touching down on our right. I believe the RAF Typhoon will be getting up very shortly and will be with us very soon. This display does have a script, so I'll be trying to work off of that, should I say. So, from the left, the RAF Typhoon. That came in very, very fast. That was a shock. I did not realise it to be very close. So hello everyone, my name is Ollie, and I'm very proud to be a part of the most realistic PTFS Royal Air Force server in the world. I'll also have the pleasure of commentating for you today, and what you're about to see is an accumulation of an effort from a large group of enlisted members. The result of over 100 hours of worth of work has provided you with the best solo fast jet display we've seen on PTFS. If you look at the belly of the aircraft, you'll be able to see where up to 9,000 kilograms of weapons and fuel can be stored. Sorry, carried, correction. The wings of the RAF Typhoon can carry up to 6 air-to-air missiles, helping the RAF up to this day to defend our skies from the enemy. The Eurofighter Typhoon has some of the best maneuverability in the world thanks to its delta wing-shaped design. As you can see now, Reheat 1, the Typhoon's display team's chosen call sign, now pulls up into the vertical, pulling 9 Gs. That display pilot Walliam is being pushed down to up to 9 times his body weight down onto his seat. Pulling back down now, Walliam, display pilot Walliam. A bit about him, he's been displaying here for about a year, and his dedication to the server and the Typhoon display force has been major. And his main task is to train, or his old task, sorry, was to train the new Typhoon pilots to fly this exact aircraft. If you want to join 2-9 Squadron or even 3 Fighter Squadron, this is your time to join now. As Will passes over, he's in a lovely slow roll, so please give him a wave as I'm sure he can see you. You can see the beautiful sleek shape of that Typhoon as it exits the vertical there. Comes back down now for another fast pass, showing the true capability of that Typhoon aircraft. As Will completes his aileron roll, I believe he'll be cutting his throttle back to 30% to show the high alpha pass, showing how he can go from a slowness of around 120 knots to up to 10 times that amount. What about this? We have some people invading our airspace, which we need to sort out. There comes Welling once again from the right, reheat fully on, and he does a negative, I believe a negative pushover. As he pushes around that bend, all the blood is being pushed into his brain, making it almost impossible to see out of his own eye. One of the hardest maneuvers in the entire display. So Welling pulls up back into the vertical, pulling right up. The cloud base is very high today, so that allows William to be able to do his full display here for us. The PTFS RAF is one of the best, if not the best server on the PTFS community, and we range from on the ground with engineering, photography and air traffic control, to up high in the skies with planes as fast as this, or as massive as you can think. There will be a place for you. So once again, Welling pulls the stick back, and coming back down for another pass. Welling is definitely one of the best display pilots you will see in the Airshow season. Another roll, beautiful work from him there. So we do come to the near end of this display. Welling's put on an amazing show for us today. And the RAF Typhoon, once again, will probably be voted the best display of the weekend when the poll goes out later. You can see he's got his landing gear down now for a dirty pass. You can see the gear that, as Will sets the landing gear down, you can see the wheels that hold up to 60,000 pounds. And I believe this is the final pass of the display here. As Will comes back down now, I believe he's going to pull up into the vertical. And, well, there we have it. The PTFS RAF Typhoon display. And as he comes back round, right. Don't worry, I've bound the F-22, it's fine. So there we go, Will lands for us in the PTFS RAF Typhoon. And that was a brilliant display, even with the continuous tomfoolery from idiots for absolutely no reason. But William, I think, put on an amazing display for everyone here today. So next up we have the A400M Atlas. This is another brilliant display, and I think Unspeakable would agree that the A400 is always a treat at air shows.
Definitely. What air force is this Atlas today?
Luftwaffe.
Alright, wonderful. The cool fact about the Atlas is on each wing, the props are rotating in opposite direction. It has counter-rotating propellers, and it reduces torque and improves control if it has an engine failure.
So if we look out far to the left, I believe we can see the A400, which we can. So this is going to be hopefully a very exciting display. I did miss it yesterday as I wasn't here. And after that, we'll be seeing the AV-8B from the Spanish Air Force. Both very exciting displays, I assume. But again, I missed both of them yesterday, unfortunately. So let's sort of see what we have in store for us today. Chaos, I know you were here yesterday. If you want to do any commentary on this.
There was a script that I should be able to get up.
Yeah, go for it.
Alright. I'm going to send this to you as well, Ollie, so we can do a bit together.
Yeah, that's fine. I am trying to do media as best as possible, though, here. Let me just get it up on my phone.
Okay, so as you lot can see, we have the Luftwaffe A400. Now, the A400 started out as a collaboration between Lockheed in the US, British Aerospace, the Aerospatiale in France, and the MBB in Germany. And the intention was that this aircraft would replace the C-130 and C-160 across all of NATO's member states. But the A400 ended up being so much bigger, more capable, and more complex than those other aircrafts could ever be. But this in turn did mean that it was much more expensive and didn't replace the C-130. It was that expensive that Lockheed decided to leave the project in the late 1980s to develop an improved version of the Hercules instead, which is now operating alongside the A400 in many air arms, including Germany. After the departure of Lockheed from the program, further European manufacturers joined the CSAA in Spain and Alenia in Italy. The project came to be the spearhead by Airbus military and the pan-European defence conglomerate that would, in the end, acquire several of the other participating companies, and the resulting aircraft flew for the first time in 2009, christened the A400M Grizzly. The production variant known as the Atlas entered service in 2013, initially with the French Air Force.
What we're seeing is here is something of a tactical demonstration. The aircraft is seeking out of a drop zone over which it will airdrop supplies. So what we'll see now is a drop zone visual. So he would go around 360 degrees as he's sort of doing now. When the A400 was being developed, there was no turboprop engine on the market powerful enough to give it the required performance, and so a pan-European group of engine manufacturers, Rolls-Royce, Safran, ITP, and MTU, came together to set up a new company called Europrop. This international group was tasked with developing an all-new engine to power its enormous aircraft. What they came up with was the Europrop TP400, the most powerful single-shaft turboprop engine ever produced, giving the A400M a total of 44,000 horsepower. So, if we look back to the right, the A400M, Chaos, if you want to just finish commentary on this display.
As you do, it's coming over from the right, and hopefully we're at the right point. It should be doing a zoom maneuver. It could be flying over. Slowing down quite a lot. They will speed them back off.
Of course, the commentary would be a lot better. However, we are dealing with trolls in the server. Sort of ruins the entire commentary.
This TP400 turboprop engine is responsible for the A400M's outstanding performance. And because of this, the A400 has doubled the payload capacity of the C-130J, yet it can still take off from shorter runways, climb faster, cruise higher, and fly farther. Cruising at 420 knots, it's also sustainably faster than the C-130. And this just shows you its sheer power and why it was so expensive. As you can see, A400 is conducting a zoom maneuver, and this is where it goes from 500 to 2,000 feet with a steep wing over at the very top, which is obviously very impressive, especially for an aircraft this size. 10 nations operate the A400M, 7 European partner nations, as well as Kazakhstan, Malaysia, and Indonesia. Germany, though, is the largest operator with 53 A400Ms on order, most of which has been delivered now, as well as providing transport capability. Germany's A400M also fly in the aerial refueling role via 2 hose and drogue pods installed under the wings, allowing up to 2 probe-equipped aircraft to be refueled simultaneously. This particular aircraft, which is now setting up for an approach, has come from. I'm sorry for if the pronunciation is wrong, but it's from Luftrang Sportzenschwader 62 in Wunstorf near Hanover. You see the wing wave before banking to the left. And this squadron, this airbase consists of 4 individual squadrons, one primarily tasked with transport, one with tactical transport, one with special operations, and one with humanitarian missions. And another squadron that's not as big, but also does specific conversion training. And you see, A400M is coming in for its final time going to land. Slow down. And we'll just ignore whatever on the runway. Looks like we might have been.
Don't worry, we're gonna do a server reset after this.
Yeah. It's been slightly later, so we'll ignore that aircraft. Sorry for if it ruins the display. Trying our best to stop. And it's taxied off. I personally think that was a very nice display. Very some interesting manoeuvres that we don't normally see from these bigger aircrafts. Ollie, how do you think it was?
Yeah, no, well, other than the trolls, it was an amazing display, really.
That was it. You can see the very last manoeuvre is showing its capabilities of actually reversing by itself. That's one of the few things this aircraft has against others, is its capability to use reverse thrust to push itself backwards on runways, helping it stop on shorter runways, as it has that power to push itself away from the edge.
Okay, so with the A400 just taxiing back, we're going to do a server reset now. So the link will be reposted in the server, only the Sywell server. So we will be back in a second, and sorry about the trolling so far. I really don't know what's going on with the idiots today, but there's not really much we can do. I'm going to reset the server, and we'll get going with the flying display again. Cool. So the new server link is an announcement. You can join back up. The server is back. So I'll just get the ground crew to probably reset up the statics. Just make sure there is, just keep like the C-17s or some of the heavier aircraft blocking the spawn pads here. So yeah, the server is back open, guys. You can rejoin. I'll just set up everything that we need, such as aircraft despawn and all that. Do the Chaos, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Do you have the Harrier script? If you could do the Harrier commentary, or at least send me.
Yep, I can send you it. We can split it again.
Yeah, it's fine. You do the first half. I'll do the first half, and then you do the second half. A very iconic profile sadly missed from our skies for just over the last decade, but slightly different in terms of the nose cone on this aircraft, with it having been redesigned to take one of the American APG-60 series of radars to give the aircraft a true air-to-air capability. Very similar in some ways to what we did to the Sea Harrier in latter years. It's very nice of the Spanish Navy unit to apply special tail markings to the aircraft, especially for this show. So the aircraft, coming for its first fly past around 600 knots of speed here, it will be performing its teardrop to come back round with a derry roll at the apex for a fly past, incorporating an aileron roll. After the US Marine Corps, Spain was the first export customer for the Harrier, and they bought the Aviate-A model, calling it the Aviate-S Matador, and they were delivered from 1976, and they also have a couple of two-seaters, and they flew from the two Spanish Navy carriers, the Daedalo and the Príncipe of Asturias. These Harrier 2 versions, the EV-8B, began arriving around 1987 and 88, and the B Plus from 1996. And it's one of those with a night and all-weather attack capability that we see here. The Spanish Navy doesn't have any true aircraft carriers any longer, so since 2013 they've been flying the Harrier from the landing helicopter dock ship Juan Carlos I, but it still affords them a very potent expeditionary capability. So from the right, I believe we're about to see the V-Stovall ability, vertical and short takeoff and landing capability. This is conferred by the use of the thrust vectoring from this single Rolls-Royce Pegasus F402 vector thrust turbofan engine, and this very coupled four-poster layout of rotating nozzles was of course a British invention. However, it was a French engineer, in fact by the name of Michael Wibolt, who developed various concepts for high performance and vertical takeoff and landing aircraft with a Bristol engine and vectored thrust from blowers. That's okay, so if you want to take it from here.
Someone also just got another F4U here and a P51 for that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Which part did you get to again?
just to the Stovall bit talking about it was a French engineer who developed it.
The French engineer, in fact, by all this was brought to bear in the first Hawker P.1127 prototype that made its first tethered flight at Dunsfold in October 1960. That then led on through the pre-production Kestrel series onto the Harrier, which was first delivered to a number 1 Squadron RAF in April 1969. The four thrust vectoring nozzles of the Harrier have been orientated between 0 to 98 degrees, and they are controlled manually by the pilot using a separate lever next to the throttle, and it's also got hot air driven controls on the nose, the tail and the wingtips for better control at lower airspeeds, just like we see here. For that fly past, the pilot had the nozzle set to 35 degrees, the flaps in the still short take off and landing configuration, and was down to a speed of around about 20 knots. All of this is much more manual operation on the Harrier compared with the double short takeoff and vertical landing version of the F-35 Lightning and the F-35B used by the RAF and Royal Navy, on which the process has been considerably automated and the risk reduced by a significant degree. Now the aircraft being brought in from the north, decelerating to hover, and this is where you really get to see the Harrier come into its own, standing on the pillars of thrust from Pegasus engines. Still just the most extraordinary machine. As I was talking about earlier, about how this aircraft still provides the Spanish Navy with a very, very valuable expeditionary capability that not long just got back with this unit from a 6-month cruise on the Juan Carlos, the first ship they deploy on nowadays, during which they sailed from Istanbul to Helsinki, and this is with a relatively small fleet. These aircrafts are a dozen, including the 2-seater, on the strength of Esquadrilla 009. So for them to be able to generate 2 aircraft to bring to this airshow, they don't do many displays with these airplanes either, which is outstanding. Now using a very slight mix of jet-borne and wing-borne lift to control the aircraft that is how the aircraft would land. You can see here, aircraft is in a full 360 rotation, just to show the true power of those engines to make it able to go in any direction with ease. And the engine is that powerful that it's even able to move back and almost stand vertically while still being able to stay in the air. Just one more reason why this is a truly remarkable aircraft. I can see aircraft starts to shoot off, wing wave as it goes past, or leveling out. and moving further towards the left. There's turning around, going back from the left, slowing down to around 125 knots, and I'm assuming it will be coming in for a landing, hopefully using its stall capabilities. As you can see, it hovers. It hovers around the runway threshold before slowly starting to decrease altitude. As you can see, as it gets closer, it slows down. Rear wheels first, so it still flares so there's less pressure on that front nose wheel before bringing the front nose wheel down and taxiing off. But that is the end of. I'm pretty sure that's the end of this display. Very nice display, I must say. Have beautiful maneuvers and just shows you why this was one of the greatest aircrafts of its time and is still an excellent aircraft now. And I believe next we have the English Electric Lightning flown by laser. It should be making its way over shortly.
So I know Unspeak is AFK at the moment. I know he's just eating lunch, so he will be back very shortly. But other than that, me and Chaos will just be commentating. Yeah, I'll commentate this one. I don't have a script for this, so I will just be making it up. Ladies and gentlemen, if you look to the left, you can see the English Electric Lightning just about to enter the display line now. This is in the very, very capable hands of Laser, coming in with a very fast pass. He pulls up into the vertical. I'm not really too sure what any of these moves are called. But this jet was a very, very capable English fighter aircraft. The English Electric Lightning is one of three types of Lightnings here today. So we have the English Electric Lightning, which is the one displaying for us now. We have the P38 Lightning, which is the one that displayed for first and opened day 2 for us. And we have the F-35B Lightning here for us today. So we have 3 variants of a Lightning here. The English Electric Lightning has a very, very good 1-to-1 thrust-to-weight ratio, or above 1-to-1 thrust-to-weight ratio, sorry. As it can fly Mach 1 vertically upwards. It has an incredible climb rate, however has a very strange engine design. As you can see, it is doubly stacked, so one is on top of the other, and there's 2 of them. Laser is one of the wing commanders of 207 Squadron in the RAF server on the PTFS RAF. However, he has teamed up with other RAF members such as myself, Miata, and Big Cats, and uses this English Electric Lightning here that we're seeing today in another flight called the RAF Historical Flight, which we'll be seeing very soon. Now he demonstrates a very slow, high alpha pass coming in from the left. Laser's a very skilled pilot. He has very many minutes in the PTFS RAF and flying minutes in just PTFS in general. The English Electric Lightning is always a stunner at airshows, very crowd favourite, especially when it was used in real displays back in the late 1970s and sort of 60s. So another fast pass from Laser there from right to left, full afterburner, and of course you can see the brand new afterburning update that was added to PTFS. So now we see Laser complete a sort of an aileron roll pass. So he does about 2 or 3 of these, of course, before vacating out of the display line. So from the right, once again, you can see the English Electric Lightning coming in at a very slow pace. He's got his gears down. He might be coming in for a landing here. I'm not actually too sure. Might also be doing a dirty pass, which would probably be the more He completes a dirty roll for us there. Beautiful from Laser. Completes multiple dirty rolls, actually. Laser completes a nice little wing move there before departing off.
Hello chaps, apologies, I'm going to have to end the stream due to reasons. If you do want to watch, I will send you all the link now, so you can watch. All you have to do is just join the stage in the Discord server, and the game link should be in announcements. I'll just get it for you now. Give me 1 minute. Right, if you check chat, just join that, and you can watch the show from better angles, to be fair. Okay, see ya!